Alright everybody, today we'll be making a crochet Brontosaurus chicken nugget. And this is part of the chicken nugget collection that we have. It's a free pattern up on our shop on our website. So you can go check those out. This is just going to be one of the five chicken nuggets. Okay? Dino chicken nuggets. So we're going to start with the Brontosaurus chicken nugget. I caught that so bad at the beginning. We're going to do the Brontosaurus chicken nugget. To start out, what you're going to need is you're going to need some yarn that is going to be chicken nugget color, whatever chicken nugget color is to you. For me, I'm going to be using this color that's on our website. If you want to check that out, you can check that out. It'll probably be linked below. And then if you have the pattern, you can follow along, or you could just kind of watch and figure it out from this video. Additionally, in addition to yarn, you're going to need scissors, a crochet hook that's going to be 5.5 crochet hook, and a pair of safety eyes for this cute little guy up at the top. Okay? And then I always like to throw in a stitch marker just to add some extra spice, and of course stuffing. Okay, so we're gonna get started. All right, to start we're going to make a slip knot and then do a magic ring alternative. We have tutorials on how to do that if you need any assistance. I'll do a quick little run through it just to make sure you guys kind of get that. It's going to be a chain 2 and then inserting it into the first chain that you made, okay? We're going to start with that, and we're going to start by making the tail piece right here. We're going to just make one of them, and you have to remember that this needs to be done first. So we're going to start by single crocheting 4 inside this loop. 4, perfect. And then we're going to single crochet 1 into the next stitch. So this is round 2. We're going to single crochet 1, and then we're going to single crochet 2, which is called an increase. We're going to increase in the next stitch, single crochet 1, and then increase. It's getting all tangled right there. Finish up that increase. Perfect. And you can sort of see that we're starting to get a pointed triangle shape. And we're going to be doing this with chenille yarn, because with thinner yarn, I don't know if it works quite as well. I don't think it does. Anyway, then the next step is going to be single crochet all the way around, which is 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there you go. This is the tail piece. It'll look a little bit different when it's on it, because right now it doesn't look like it's the tail at all, but it'll look different when you see it combined with the other pieces, trust me. You're going to fasten this off like that, and there is your tail. Okay, we're going to leave that right here. And then we're going to make the legs and body, which is all going to be about one piece. The best thing about this pattern is that it's a no-sew pattern. And so you can do it without even needing a needle. 'Cause usually I use needles for patterns, but we didn't need one today, so that's kind of nice. For the legs, you're going to do another magic ring alternative. Whoop. Okay, there it goes. Magic ring alternative and single crochet 6 inside that stitch. I always like to do it so that it's evenly spaced on both sides. So like 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, that's also fine. All right. That's round 1. Round 2, still checking my stitches. Round 2, you're going to single crochet 1 and 2, and then increase So 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Beautiful. 1 and 1 and 2, and then increase at that last stitch. All right, perfect. That's 1 leg. Okay, we're going to fasten that off. Before you get ahead of yourself, we're not going to be fastening anything off anymore until the end of the pattern, okay? Trust me on this, okay? We're going to take this again, make another magic ring alternative. Chain 2, single crochet 6. We're just making another leg, by the way. Single crochet 6 in this loop. 5, 6. 1, 2, and then an increase. Single crochet 2, and then an increase. Okay, beautiful. And then this is the part where it starts getting tricky. This is why it's important that I have a video that I've worked on for this. Okay, so we're going to take all of our pieces. You see all of these little nubs right here, the legs and then the tail. Those we're all going to have to stitch them together in 1 row, okay? So let me show you how that's going to work. And this is very important to pay attention to where it starts and where it ends. And so that's why it's important to keep this stitch marker right here at that last stitch, okay? So we remember where we start and where we're ending, okay? All right, to join them, we are going to take this leg. Just make sure that it's still on this one. This is where it gets a little complicated. I always like to start the round right after the other last stitch that was. So you see how it was inserted right here, how the last stitch is right here. The next stitch that you were going to do before you fasten off, you're going to single crochet in that one and see how now they're kind of connected. That's what you want, okay? You're going to single crochet all around this one. Single crochet, 8 of them all around. Perfect. And then you're going to go back into this leg and then single crochet 4 times. 2, 3, 4, to only go halfway across. And then you're going to take the tail and then you're going to join with this tail the same way that we did the other ones. Whoop. My tension on that one was really bad. Single crochet all the way around, which is going to be 6. 4, 5, 6. And these tails, they're important to leave hanging out of these holes. Like that, and like that one, okay? And then we're gonna finish up this round by single crocheting 4 across the first leg that we started with, and finishing up that round. Perfect, and that's the bottom. We'll figure out these tails in just a minute, but that's the bottom and that's kind of how you're gonna start it off, okay? Okay, this next round is gonna be pretty simple. You're just gonna go around it like it's normal. That was probably the hardest part. So we got this, we made through it. This next one that we're gonna do is we're going to single crochet 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we're going to decrease we're going to single crochet 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to decrease, and then single crochet 3, 1, 2, 3. Whoop. And this is how the tail is going to pick up a little bit, so it's not just flat with the rest of it. Kind of like how this pterodactyl looks, how it's supposed to be like more downward focused. The pterodactyl, I wanted it to look different, but then I looked at pterodactyl chicken nuggets and I was like, oh, they look like this. So anyway, back to the Brontosaurus. We love this little guy. The next thing that we're going to do is very, very similar. It's going to be, oh, make sure to keep that stitch marker there because you can lose track of it pretty quick. We're going to single crochet 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, woo, 9, 10. So that's 10. And then you're going to decrease times 4. So decrease here. Whoa, I love when that happens, don't you? Decrease here. Decrease over these next two. Decrease again. And decrease one last time. That last one was just supposed to get it so that this tail picked up a little bit. And now this is what it's fully closing so that this tail sticks out. Okay? And so that we kind of get this slope up into the neck. Okay? Some little crochet doll theory stuff. You're going to do those last 2 single crochets. Put that stitch marker in there because losing track of where you're at here could be horrible. The next one that we're going to do is it's kind of similar to the last one. It's going to be single crochet 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, woo, 8, 9. And if you can see, I changed the way that I hold my yarn very differently, like every single time. So there's not like one particular way that I found works best for me. It's just whatever works best with the yarn. So then you're going to decrease 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then do 1 more single crochet to finish the round. And then put that stitch marker in here. And then we're going to start the next round, which is going to be single crochet 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we're going to decrease 2 times, just to make sure we get this tail sloping up very dramatically. Perfect. All right, then next we're going to single crochet 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then decrease. All right, that round's done. By this point, we are at round 9, just so you are aware. This is where your count is going to be 10. So this is where you start doing the fun stuff, okay? We're going to single crochet 2, 3, single crochet 3, and then decrease, and then single crochet 3, 2, 3, and then decrease. Okay, before it gets crazy, what I'm gonna do, like before this gets too narrow, this neck gets too narrow, to do any further like fixing of down here, we're gonna pull this out a little bit and then turn it over. This yarn right here, we're going to sew it up down here, sew up that open wound, the open hole, and kind of just stitch it up so that these holes aren't so gaping. Beautiful. Now they don't have those big holes. Perfect. All right, next we are going to single crochet 8, which is the whole round. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops. 8. Perfect. All right, and then this is where it gets fun again. That was like, I always thought that it was going to be like more than that for when I was making the pattern for the Brontosaurus. I thought there was going to be more of just straight single crochets all the way around, but there's only that one round. That is the only normal round where there's not a bunch of fancy extra counting and stuff, okay? Sorry, guys. Then next, you're going to single crochet 3, 3, and then you're going to increase 3 times. 2, 3, and then you're going to single crochet those last 2, and then you're going to single crochet 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then increase twice. Two times, and then single crochet 4 times. And then perfect. We'll stuff that. Probably now is a good idea. Just all of the space below the neck, because if you start trying to stick it up the neck, then it's just going to get caught in your crochet hook and you're going to end up crocheting more fluff than, oh, we'll pull that up. You'll end up crocheting more fluff than actual yarn. Perfect. Stuff this little guy. Oh! I wish it was more of a clean process, but perfect. Boys properly stuffed. And then we're going to single crochet, back to crocheting instead of stuffing. You're going to single crochet, oh, never mind, I lied. This is another normal round. You're going to single crochet all the way around. Perfect. And the whole round is going to be 13 by that point. Perfect. And then we're almost there. We just have 2 more rounds left. So next we're going to single crochet and then decrease and do that 4 times. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, and do that last single crochet. And then the last one, that last round, before we do that last round, you can kind of tell what it's going to be. But before we do it, we're going to just stuff the rest and put the eyes in. So here's the fluff that we're going to use. We'll just stuff that really quick, but we'll put eyes in really fast. Just going to check where we put the eyes on this one. Every time I make a new one, I like to put the eyes in a different spot. That's way too far forward. I like to put them in a different spot so that you can tell that it's different. See, these ones have farther back eyes. He's a goofy little guy. Okay, perfect. So just change the eye placement a little bit. You don't have to do that if you don't want. It's just one of my favorite things to do. Just so you can tell that I actually made them myself and I didn't just tell people exactly how to put them, and that you can't change any of these patterns at all, because you totally can. If you think that it looks better one way than another way, then that's up to you. I like crocheting one way and you can crochet a totally different way, and it's totally fine. Anyway, we're going to finish this up by decreasing. Decreasing 3 times. 2, 3. Perfect. And that's not even a full round, as you can see. But it's okay, because then we can pull this closed. Sometimes the stitch count is off, so it's okay in the end. We'll just kind of pull in these ends, weave in the ends. Weaving in the ends meaning we're going to try to pull it closed. And how I do that is I just weave them through all of these stitches at the top. Pull it a little bit each time I weave it through a new one. Like so. Perfect. Oop. Accidentally pulled some extra fluff out with that one. It's fine. Nobody can see it. It's fine. And then shape his head as you so desire. I had tighter tension for this one, so that's why he's a little bit smaller. Today we'll be making the Pterodactyl Dino Chicken Nugget. And so the materials that you're going to need for this are going to be yarn, obviously. And then you're going to need a pair of safety eyes. I'm just going to use these size, however big you want, however big you think works best. And then you're going to need scissors, a crochet hook, and a stitch marker if you so desire. I like to use them. I find that it's really important for these ones, all of the Dino Chicken Nuggets that I do. I find that it's really important to have them. And you can get this pattern on our website. It is available in our patterns. It's a free pattern. You can go check it out if you like, and then it has all of these. Today we're just going to be focusing on the Pterodactyl. The yarn that I'm going to be using for this is available on our shop. It is a orange color. Insert the orange name that it is, because I don't know. So you can check that out. It really is the perfect color for this, so do with that what you will. I'm going to use it because I love it, but you can use whatever color you think works best. Dark brown can make it a burnt chicken nugget if you want. So anyway, we're going to start making this pterodactyl. I have had people say that it looks kind of like an octopus, which, I mean, sure. But if you have seen a Dino Chicken Nugget that's a pterodactyl, you will kind of understand what I'm saying about they just look like it. They just look like that pterodactyl. Okay, starting out, we're going to be making a slipknot magic ring alternative type of thing. I always start my magic ring alternatives by a slipknot. You don't always have to. I just like to do it like that. We're going to make a magic ring alternative, which is just chaining 2, and then going into this first stitch so that you don't have to deal with all the craziness of a magic ring. I do like to do magic rings for other projects, but for this one, I'm not doing a magic ring. So an important thing about this pattern to remember is that even though it is just single crochets, increases and decreases, there are some harder things about it that you're going to want to keep in mind. There's a lot of fastening off when you don't think you should be fastening off, and then starting in a different spot. So just keep that in mind because it is a little bit more of a complicated pattern for that aspect, but it's pretty easy, just basic stitch-wise. And the order in which that you do the body parts and all of these pieces is really important. So make sure that you're doing the pieces in the correct order, or else it's going to turn out really not good. Okay? Perfect. So we're going to start by making the legs. We're going to single crochet 6 in that magic ring alternative that you just made until it forms this little circle. And then you're going to single crochet 2. This is the second round, just so you know. Single crochet 2 and then increase. And then single crochet 2. And then increase. Make sure that it's turned right side out. Perfect. That leg's done. You're going to make another one exactly like it and also fasten that one off. And then just fasten that off. Perfect. 2 legs done. Then we're going to start on the wings and body. Basically, just do the 2 wings. Just don't fasten off the last one, okay? Let me show you really quick. Making the wings and body. So you're going to start by making a magic ring alternative, which is chain 2, insert into the first stitch. And then you're going to single crochet 4 in here so that it'll turn out to be more of a point. 3, 4. And then you're going to, on the second round, you're going to single crochet and then increase. And do it again. Single crochet and then increase. And then for round 3, you're going to single crochet 2 and then increase. And repeat that again. Single crochet 2 and then an increase. And you'll have a total of 8 stitches on the on the work. And then you're going to single crochet all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. And then just snip that off. That is one wing. You're going to make another one of those. Just don't fasten it off at the end. Perfect. And just make sure that it stays on the hook like this. This next step is going to be a little bit trickier, so just kind of pay attention. Make sure that you leave that stitch mark in that last stitch, okay? Or in the first stitch, however you like to do it. I always like to do the last stitch. Of the previous round. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by single crocheting 4 on this wing. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And then you're going to take this leg right here. All of these have 8 as their round count, like their stitch count. And so it's kind of easier to keep track of it that way. You're going to take this next leg and you're going to single crochet 4 on it, sorry. You're going to single crochet 4 on this leg. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Just like that. And you're going to take this next leg and then you're going to single crochet 4 on that. 2, 3, 4. So it's kind of turning into this like wobbly train of sorts. You're going to take the wing and then single crochet all the way around it, which is going to be 8 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. And then you're going to single crochet 4 across this leg. 3, 4, and then single crochet 4 on the next leg. And then single crochet 4 on the wing that you started on. Perfect. And now we've got this little bottom piece done. Don't forget to stretch, ladies. Okay. Perfect. Then we're going to put the stitch marker in that last stitch and then get started on this next round. All of the rounds are going to be complicated after this, so just kind of pay attention, try to keep up, okay? Awesome. All right, we're going to start off strong by single crocheting 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to decrease. Perfect. And then we're going to single crochet 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then decrease. And we're going to do that 3 times. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then decrease, and then single crochet those last 3. And then this next row, which is row number 7, is you're going to start off strong with a decrease. Then you're going to single crochet and then decrease again. And then you're going to single crochet 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is a common number today, huh? And you're going to decrease. And then you're going to single crochet and then decrease and do that twice. Single crochet, decrease. Very nice. And then you're going to single crochet 6, 2, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then decrease, and that last single crochet. Perfect. Then this next row is going to be row number 8, almost to the easier part. All right, next we're going to decrease and then decrease again. No single crochet break between them. And then you're going to single crochet 5. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then decrease 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Oops. And then we're going to single crochet 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And then decrease for this last 2 stitches. Perfect. And then put this stitch marker in there. Beautiful. 10 out of 10. It's looking pretty crusty. Little hack, let me show you this really quick, is that there are these extra tails that you can use to stitch up these holes, and that's what I always do. That's what I always do, because it's easier that way. and it makes it look cleaner, so we don't have as much stuffing poking out from over here. Perfect. And then this last one right here. Perfect, just like that. And so there's no more holes, woohoo. All right, then this next one is going to just be decreasing all the way around, which is going to be 8 times. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. And then make sure that stitch marker, whoop, throwing stuff all over the place. Make sure that that stitch marker goes right back in. And then you're going to single crochet 8 all the way around, kind of for the neck part. There's not a lot of a neck, but for any of the neck that there is, this is the neck part. Perfect, just like that, and then put that right back there. Now we're at round 11. We're going to start round 11, and that's going to be increasing times 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to single crochet and then increase 2 times, and then single crochet and do 1 more increase. And then we're going to go to round number 12, which is just going to be a single crochet all the way around. And there's going to be 14 on this round. Okay, perfect. The best thing about increases is that it's really easy to know how many extra there are on the round after doing increases, because you just count the amount of increases and then add that to your stitch count. And decreases are like -1 from your stitch count. It's pretty simple and pretty nice. Almost there. For this next one, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. This one is going to be single crochet and then decrease. And then it's going to be single crochet 3. And then decrease. And then single crochet and decrease twice. And then we are going to decrease all the way around. 1, 2, 3, oops. Before we finish up this round though, we're going to put some eyes in it. And what I always like to do with these is I like to put them in so that they're in a little bit different of a spot than the other one that I made. So let's see. Like this one, I got some, maybe we'll put it in like that. Ooh, that's terrifying. Never do that, actually. Sit. Oh, look at that. We'll put them really low down. I think that would be funny, actually. Oop. Put in those safety eyes. Awesome. And then stuff it. Finish stuffing the head in just a minute. I'm going to finish single crocheting this, decreasing it off. Okay, that's better. That'll hold the stuffing in a little bit better. Ah, stuff it right in the noggin. And you're just going to be decreasing all the way around. So that's about 4 or 5 times, something like that. Perfect. Those eyes look so funky right there. They look like a cyclops. We'll just look at that side because that side's a little bit more flattering looking. All right. Just tuck in those ends. Like that. And just tuck in that loose end, like so. Squish him up so that he looks normalish. Roar. Welcome to this chicken nugget, dino chicken nugget tutorial. Firstly, this is what you're going to be making. It's a chicken nugget Stegosaurus. The color is what really gets it to look like a chicken nugget. This color is available on our shop, and you're gonna need it if you want it to look like this. You can also use other variants of this kind of color, but this color is actually just perfect for this, so I like to use it. For this pattern, you're gonna need to know how to single crochet, how to increase, how to decrease, and how to treble bobble crochet. And I'm going to show you how to do that in case you don't know how to do that. Treble bobble crochets are not a very common stitch, but they're very useful all the same. That's what we use for these feetsies right here. Okay, and then you're going to need stuffing and a stitch marker if you want one. I always use a stitch marker, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Stitch marker, crochet hook. I'm going to use a 5.5 millimeter, and then some scissors, and then a pair of safety eyes. I like to use big eyes for my little creations because the bigger the eyes, the goofier they look. Okay, let's just jump right into it. All right, starting out, we're going to be making 3 different spikes. These spikes that you see right here, we're going to be making those 3 spikes. And we're going to be making them all separately. This is a no-sew pattern, so you won't have to worry about sewing each of the pieces on. So what you're going to do is you're going to first start with a magic ring alternative. I like to use magic ring alternatives since they're a little easier. And then I'm going to single crochet 4 inside that loop. Magic ring alternatives is just chain 2 and then go into that first loop. Anyway, now we have our little ring of 4. Then we are going to, this is for round 2, we are going to single crochet and then increase. For small projects like this, I don't, like the small pieces like this, I don't like to use stitch markers for smaller pieces like this because it just makes it harder. And we're going to repeat the single crochet and increase on so that we get all the way around that round. Perfect. So you're going to have this little bit of a point right here. And then you're going to single crochet 2, 1, and then 2. And then you are going to increase. Then you're going to single crochet 2, and increase again, okay? All right, there is your spike. And then I'm going to fasten this off. I always like to leave a little tail so that it's not as much to keep track of, and it wastes a little bit less yarn. All right, there is your spike. You're going to make 2 more of these. Chain 2, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, single crochet, increase, single crochet, single crochet, increase. All right. Almost there. Now we have our 3 spikes. You're going to just set those aside and use those for later. Then next we're going to make the tail. And it's important that you make them in this order. Well, the spikes and the tail, it doesn't matter what order you make those in, but it's important that you make the spikes and the tail before you make the head. So for this tail, what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet, for this we're going to do a magic ring alternative, and then single crochet 4 in that. just like that, kind of like how we did with the other one. And then in very similar fashion, we are going to single crochet and then increase. And then we're going to single crochet and then increase. And then we're going to single crochet 6 around, so do the whole round 2 times. So for rows 3 and 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because there are 6 in each of these rounds. We're going to go 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right, then we're gonna fasten that off and then tuck that loose end in. I find it's always easier that way. Now we have this little guy. This little guy is done. Now we have the tail and the spikes, okay? Perfect, just set those aside for the moment. Then next we're going to make the head and the body. But first we're gonna start with this head. We're gonna take our yarn, make a magic ring alternative. 2, and then we're going to single crochet 8 in this stitch, so double the amount that we've been doing. 2, 3, 4. I always like to do 4 on one side and then 4 on the other when I do 8. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And then we're going to do a similar thing to what we did with the other ones. We're going to single crochet 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to increase. Increase. 1. And then we're going to do it again. 2, 3, and then increase. Perfect. And with that, we're going to, I'm actually going to put a stitch marker down so that I don't have to think about it while I'm crocheting. I'm just going to single crochet all the way around, which is 10 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Perfect. This is row 3. And then we're at row 4. We're going to put a stitch marker in there really quick. We're going to single crochet 3, 2, 3, and then we're going to decrease. And then we're going to single crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to decrease. Take that stitch marker out, and there you go. All right. Now this is where it gets kind of fun. I'm going to leave that stitch marker right here. This is going to be where you have to be good at counting. I know, I believe in you. You can do this. All right, you're going to start by single crocheting 4 on this head. 3, 4, because there's 8 stitches on this head right now, okay? And then you're going to take one of these spikes at starting, well, actually, okay. Let me show you a little hack, because when you're going to be stitching this, there's going to be these holes that kind of pop up that you're going to need to stitch together. And I usually use these tails right here, so you can just kind of leave that out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this spike, and starting where I left off, instead of using this yarn, we're going to keep using this yarn, the yarn that we've been using. We're going to single crochet, so now they're kind of attached to each other now, okay? You're going to single crochet 4 on this, because the count that they have is 8 stitches. See, like that? So now we have these pieces that are attached, okay? We're gonna grab another one of these, pull that tail so that it's hanging out. We'll single crochet 4 on this from where we left off. 3, 4. So now these are attached. You're gonna take the last of these spikes, And then you're going to single crochet 4. Oop. 2, 3, 4. And you're going to take this tail, which only has 6 stitches, and then we're going to start where we left off, also pulling this tail out. We're going to start where we left off, and then we're going to go all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now that we're all the way around, we're going to go back where we left off with this, because right now it just kind of looks a little goofy. We're going to start where we left off on the last spike that we did. We're going to single crochet the last 4 of that round of this spike. 3. Perfect. And then we're going to grab this next spike, and we're going to complete the round on this one too. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And then we're going to do the same thing on this spike. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to complete the round as a whole on this head. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in total, we're going to have 38 stitches. Okay? You're going to have like a long trail like this, okay? And now while we're like this, before we start getting into the crocheting and pulling this all together, I'm going to just pull all these extra tails out so that I can stitch it up at the end without having to fish for them through the stuffing. It makes life way easier, trust me. Here's these extra tails. It looks a little ugly right now, but it's okay. He's just quirky like that. Okay? All right, next what we're gonna do is we are going, okay, what we're going to do next is you have to pay attention to this very closely. Make sure that your stitch marker is in that last stitch, okay? So that you have to pay very close attention to what I'm going to tell you, because it might get a little bit complicated, okay? For some of the other dinosaurs, it definitely gets pretty complicated with this. Okay, you're going to single crochet and then decrease, okay? And you're going to do that 12 times, right? Remember what I said about counting. 2, just basically do it until you can't do it anymore. But 12 also works. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and then you're going to finish up this round with 2 single crochets. Oops. All right. Okay, and it's going to start curving in on itself like that, you see? That's going to start forming that kind of dinosaur-esque shape, the Stegosaurus shape, okay? The goal is to get it to curve in on itself. All right, here's another one. We're going to do more of what we just did. We're going to do single crochet and then decrease. You're going to repeat that 8 times. Oh, love when that happens. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we finish it off with 2 more single crochets. All right, put that stitch marker right here as we start this next round. This is round number 8. Okay, this is all counting the head too. So if you count the amount of rounds from the head, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're at row number 8, okay? This is where it gets a little bit more complicated. Let me show you. What you're gonna do is you're going to treble bobble stitch. Let me show you how to do that, okay? You're gonna do a treble crochet by wrapping the yarn around the hook twice, insert it into this stitch, pull it through once, wrap it around, pull it through 2 loops, wrap it around, pull it through 2 more loops, and then wrap it around and pull it through the last 2 loops, okay? The reason why it's called treble crochet is treble means 3 and you pull it through 3 times, okay? Let me show you again. Insert, pull it through without 1 time. 1, 2, 3, treble crochet. Okay, that's what a treble crochet is. Let me show you a treble bobble stitch. Treble bobble stitch is going to be like a treble crochet, except you only pull it through twice, and then you leave it on that hook, okay? And then you wrap it around 2 more times, pull through, and you're building up loops inside on your crochet hook, okay? Wrap around 2 times, insert, pull through, whoa, perfect. And you're gonna build up 4 of these on this hook so that when you're finished with that, you're gonna have 5 loops on your hook, okay? Each of these is a treble crochet, okay? Except for this one just connects it back to the beginning, okay? And then you're gonna wrap the yarn around the hook and pull it through all 5 of those loops, okay? And so it all looks like it was in 1 stitch when it was like 4 stitches right there, okay? And then you're going to decrease on normal. We're back to normal past this weird treble crochet bobble stitch. And then you're going to single crochet and then decrease, single crochet and decrease. And then we're going to do another one of those treble crochet bobble stitches, okay? Just wrap it around twice, pull it through twice, but not through the last one. And then now that we have 5 loops on our hook, I'm gonna pull that through all the rest of them. And then we are going to decrease. Single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease, and that's the end of the round, okay? By this point, now that this hole is getting smaller, I'm gonna put the safety eyes in. I really liked where I put these ones last time. Let's see if there's an even better place to put them. So we're gonna take our safety eyes. It's further up better. Make sure that they line up. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, then we're going to secure these. Ooh, securing safety eyes like this, I always turn it inside out like that. It looks really, really weird, but it makes it easier to put in these safety eyes. Like that, safety eye. Perfect, then turn it right back out. Perfect. And this is about where I'm going to start stuffing it too. So I'm going to close these holes up at the top. Just stitch them closed. You can just use a crochet hook. You just pull it through both of those loops. And that one is shut. And then we're going to do that with all of the rest of these. Just pulling it closed like so. And then just this last one at the tail. And just hiding these tails inside these loose strands inside of the body, okay? So now that that's done, I can go ahead and stuff this little guy. Put some of this stuffing in there. I always like to hold this out of the way so that it doesn't get stuck with the stuffing. Kind of like when you don't want to get your hair wet when you're getting a drink from a drinking fountain or something. Stuff inside the head. Make sure it gets in all of the little nooks because there's a lot in this. Perfect. Very well stuffed chicken nugget. Things I never thought I would say. All right. Now that it is well stuffed, we're gonna finish this guy up with 2 more rounds, okay? We're going to, no, actually it's just 1 more round. We're gonna finish this guy up with 1 more round. We're going to decrease around the entire thing. So just decreasing, which is gonna be 6 times since there are 12. Oh, I'll leave my stitch marker right here. Since there are 12 stitches, we're gonna just be decreasing 6 more times. Ooh, that's 1. It gets more difficult when you stuff it because it's like wanting to burst out all the time. That's 3. Ugh, and with these bobble stitches, it gets a little bit difficult, but I believe in you. You can do this. And just decrease. Decrease. This is 5. Oh my gosh. About to freaking chuck this thing at the wall. And then this last decrease. Perfect. And then we can pull out that tail. Snip it with a tail so that we can pull it closed, unless you want to just leave it with a big hole. You can also do that. I don't recommend it because then the stuffing falls out, but you do what you do. We're going to weave this through, pull this hole closed. Just pull the hole closed, weave it through all these little loops. I think the maximum amount of loops for me to close something up, if I'm finishing up a project, is about like 8. 10 is the absolute maximum for me. I will not do 10. Anyway, now that we have properly close that up. Here are our little guys, different placed eyes, because you can have fun with eye placement. Ain't nobody being specific about that. You can do whatever you want with it. So anyway, there are your Stegosaurus chicken nuggets. You have, yeah, and then if you're wanting to learn how to make more chicken nuggets, we also have all of these other guys. You can make a pterodactyl, you can make a T-Rex, you can make a Brontosaurus, and you can make a Triceratops. So we've got 5 different little guys in one pattern. All right, today we are going to be making a T-Rex Dino Nugget. For this pattern, you're going to need the pattern. You can follow this video too if that also works. You need a crochet hook of 5.5 millimeter, scissors, pair of safety eyes, yarn obviously, and some stuffing, and I like to keep a stitch marker on hand because it just kind of helps me keep track of things, especially with these Dino Nuggets. I'm going to be using this orange color. It's available on our website if you want to try it. It's perfect for Dino Nuggets. The pattern for this is also available on the website, so if you want to check that out, you can. We also have a wide variety of other Dino Nuggets here, and we also have a variety of other patterns on the website, so you can go ahead and check those out if you want. No pressure. Today we're just going to be learning about making a Tyrannosaurus Rex Dino Nugget. And while you're here, you could just like and subscribe, whatever you want, but it would really help us out a lot. All right, to get started, we're going to, okay, also remember for this pattern, it's super important to make sure that all of the pieces are made in the correct order. You're going to start by magic ring alternative, which the way that I do it is a slip knot and then chaining 2 and then back into this stitch right here. That's magic ring alternative. So using this magic ring alternative, we're going to single crochet 6, and this is going to be the leg piece of the T-Rex. So this little nub right here is going to be that piece. For this pattern, you will need to know a little bit more than just single crochet increases and decreases. You're going to need to know how to do a treble bobble crochet. Okay? Treble crochet bobble stitch. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, I'll show you how to do it in case you need help with it. It's one of those stitches that's a little bit more on the uncommon side. So most of the time it's just single crochets and increases and decreases. All right, so firstly, the first row is going to be 6 single crochets. The next, you're going to start in the next row and then do 2 single crochets and then an increase. And you're going to repeat that one more time. Perfect. All right, then that is the leg. Ta-da. All right, that is the only time you're gonna have to fasten off until the very end, all right? The best part about this pattern is that it's a no-sew pattern. So you can literally not even have to worry about using a yarn needle. Okay, next is going to be the tail piece. That's the only other appendage that we have to make before we start getting this bad boy started in the round. So we're going to make another magic ring alternative and then single crochet 4, sorry. You're going to single crochet 4 inside this loop right here. Perfect, just like that. And then you're going to single crochet, this is in the second round, remember? Single crochet and then increase. Perfect. And then single crochet and increase again. Sometimes it likes to curve in at a weird angle. So just remember to make sure that the right side is out, okay? Then next, you're going to single crochet all the way around twice. So that's going to be 6 each round. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's one round. And then we're gonna do another round, just single crochet all the way around. So 6 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. And then just to finish this up, you're going to single crochet 2 and then increase. And then do it again. Perfect. Just like that, and that tail is done. All right, we're not going to fasten it off quite yet. We're going to put that stitch marker in it so that we don't lose track of where we're at. We're going to single crochet 4, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to take this leg, and then we're going to go through the leg just as if we were crocheting on a normal round. So what I like to do is go off where we just left off, where we fastened it off, and just crochet around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 8 on this, so you're going to go all the way around. 6, 7, 8. Perfect. And then you're going to go and finish the last 4 on the tail. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And there is a bit of a hole right there, but you can easily stitch it up with this right here. I'm going to do that really quick, just so that we don't have to worry about it later on. Perfect. Stitched. All right. Then next, since we have this little guy started, you can kind of tell where all of his pieces are. That's his tail, this is his leg, and it's starting to pull together a little bit. So we're gonna do the next round. And overall, this little guy has 18 rounds. So, and that's mostly just because this tail is long and I count the tail as rounds. So round number 7 is going to be single crochet 3, and then a decrease, and then single crochet 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then decrease, and then single crochet 3 to wrap it up. And then we're going to be at round number 8 here. All right, then we are going to start round number 8. Oop, sorry. We're going to start round number 8. Sorry. We're going to start round number 8 by decreasing twice. 2, and then single crocheting 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then decreasing. Initially, when making this pattern, I did make it incorrectly. I didn't write it correctly, and so I had to do some further editing a little bit later on, but it turned out pretty good. So round number 9 is going to be pretty simple. It's just going to be single crocheting 11 around, because by this point we've hit 11. Oop. Make sure you're getting through both of the loops. Even as somebody who's been doing this for 10 plus years, I still will accidentally get through only one of the loops. And it's totally fine, just redo the stitch. I know a lot of beginners don't really have that as an instinct to go through both loops. It's like, oh, I should only go through one of them, obviously. Totally fair. All right, round number 10 is going to be single crocheting 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is where it gets interesting, okay? what you're gonna do is you're gonna make a treble bobble crochet. If you know how to do this, fabulous, props to you. If you don't know how to do this, then let me show you really quick. You're gonna do a treble crochet, which is wrapping around the yarn twice on your hook, inserting it into the stitch, pulling it through, and then pulling it through 2 loops at a time after that first initial, okay? And instead of pulling it through those last 2, you just leave them on the hook, okay? All right, let me show you how to do that bobble stitch. All right, let me show you how to do the bobble stitch, the treble bobble stitch. You're going to wrap around the yarn twice on your hook, insert it into the stitch desired, pull through another loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And if you're doing a traditional, treble crochet, then it would be, you would pull it through these last 2 loops, but since we're doing a bobble stitch, we'll be using we'll just leave this last loop, these last 2 loops on the hook, okay? Then you're gonna do a few more of those so that you have 4 of them. See, you see the 4 right here. You're gonna do it so that you have 4 of them. Perfect. And then you just pull that last loop through all 4 of the stitches, okay? So that should be your treble bobble crochet. All right. The rest of this round is just going to be single crochets. So it's just 5 more single crochets to that stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take that stitch marker out. Perfect. All right. That round is done. Okay. The next few rows is just going to be single crochet 11 all the way around. Perfect. And then the round 12 is going to be a little bit different because it's going to have some decreasing. You're going to single crochet 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to decrease 2. 1, whoop, 1, and then decrease 2, and then single crochet 3. Perfect. So that's how you have that little dip before the head starts. And then you're going to single crochet 3. Oops. Single crochet 3, increase, and then increase. You're going to do 4 increases. I'm not just going to be like, count how many increases that I do. You're going to do 4 increases, and then wrap it up with 2 single crochets. And then this next round, round number 14, is going to be single crocheting 5. 1, woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then increasing 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then wrapping it up with 4 single crochets. And then for the next 2 rounds, you're just going to single crochet 17 around, because that's the count right now, is 17 stitches. So it kind of looks funky right now, but it'll look better in a minute, trust me. So single crochet all the way around twice. There should be 17 as your stitch count. Round 1, or well, round 15. Perfect. All right, once you're done with row number 16, it should look like this, which is perfect. If it doesn't look like this, I don't know what you did, but it probably should look at least something like this. Sorry. Next, you're going to decrease all the way around, which is going to be 8 times, and then finish it with a single crochet, because it is an odd number. I don't love that it's an odd number, but it helps it so that the arm could go at the right place at the bottom, but it's fine. It'll be fine. Just decrease all the way around. I find by after this round, because you have 9 on the stitch count is 9 at the end of this round. This is a good place to stuff it and put the safety eyes in. So stuff it all the way down in there. Getting all the nooks and crannies. Perfect, and then pop some eyes in. Let's check where his eyes are. Right there, let's see, let's make them. That looks so dumb. That's perfect. He needs to look a little derpy. One of the requirements. Beautiful. And then we just pop some backs on those. Almost there. Perfect. And then we're just going to decrease all the way around. 2, 3, 4. That should be about 4. And then he looks so funky. Okay. Then you're just going to snip it off and then weave in these ends. Just to make it a little bit cleaner looking. Today we'll be making the Triceratops chicken nugget. He is a little bit wonky looking. And so if you ever think that you can make it look better, then go ahead. But this is just the quick little pattern I'm going to show you for this guy. And yeah, if you want to make any of the other dino chicken nuggets, they're all available on our website. You can just go check out that shop. And they're free on our website, so you can just go check those out. And while you're here, you can like and subscribe and follow us for more, because we come out with these often. And you can find all of the other videos on our YouTube. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's get started with this Triceratops. What you're gonna need for this is you're gonna need chenille yarn. I'm gonna be using this stuff that we have on our website. If you wanna go get that, that's totally up to you. It actually is the literal perfect color for chicken nuggets, so that is a plus. But this is on our website, chenille yarn. And then I'm gonna have a pair of safety eyes, scissors, a 5.5 crochet hook, and a stitch marker. And of course, stuffing, but that's just a given. All right, to start this guy out, we're going to be making a bunch of different pieces. And make sure that you do these pieces in the order that I'm making them in, okay? Because if you don't make them in this order, then it might be a little bit more difficult, okay? Perfect. All right, so we're gonna start by making 2 legs. And to do this, we're gonna make a magic ring alternative, which is a slip knot, and then chaining 2, and then you go back into that first. It's nice so you don't have to be like finagling a whole lot when you're making a magic ring, so just, it's nice for that aspect. All right, to get started making this leg, we're gonna be making 2 of these actually, so I'm just gonna go through the first one and then you kind of just make another one like that. You can rewatch that part of the video if you want. Making these, you're going to single crochet 6 in this stitch right here. If you've seen any of the other Dino Nugget patterns, you'll know that those ones have the same exact pattern for the legs because they're all very similar. It's kind of important to have them be similar because then you don't have as much, like they look more like they're made the same. All right, so firstly, that's the first row, and then the second row is going to be single crocheting 2, 1 and 2. And then in this third stitch, you're going to be increasing, which is just 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. And you're going to do that again so that you go all the way around that second time. 1, 2, and then increase in this last stitch right here. Perfect. And then we're just going to fasten that off. And there you have it. That is the first leg. We're going to make another one exactly like it. I'll just go through that really quick. And you can use a stitch marker for this if you want, but you don't have to. I always find that it's easier for the smaller pieces to just not use a stitch marker, but it's whatever you want. All right, there is that second leg. Perfect. All right, some of the things with these Dino Nuggets to keep in mind is that there is some shaping that you can do, and that it's fine if you're doing shaping. Like this little guy, he's kind of got an off-center head, and so you can just readjust it to look however you want it to look, and sometimes this nose doesn't look right, so you could just, no, it looks fine. So whatever you want, there's definitely a little bit of shaping that goes into crocheting, so just keep that in mind, that it doesn't have to look perfect right as soon as it's done. Sometimes it takes a little bit of shaping to make it look right. Starting to make the tail, you're going to make a magic ring alternative, which is a slip knot and then chain 2. You're going to go into that first stitch and then single crochet 4. 3, 4. Perfect. And then you are going to single crochet and then increase. And you're going to do that one more time, and so that will leave you with 6, with a stitch count of 6. Perfect. And then you are going to single crochet all the way around 2 times. So that's 6 2 times. 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's round 3 that we just completed. And now we're going to do round 4, which is all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right, and then we're going to fasten that bad boy off. There we go. And those are our pieces. This next part is going to be a little bit more on the complicated side. Okay, it's still pretty easy, but it takes a little bit of grasping. Takes a little bit of braid power to grasp. All right, perfect. So we're going to start with a magic ring alternative, as always. Slip, slip, slip knot. Wow. Okay, slip knot and then chain 2. Go into that first one and single crochet 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. And then we're going to single crochet 2, and then increase, single crochet 2, and then increase. Perfect. And this is about the point where you're going to want to start putting in a stitch marker because it's just going to get bigger from here, okay? Perfect. You're going to single crochet, decrease twice, and then single crochet those last 3. Okay, perfect. This is going to be the horn part. That's going to be that right there. It's a little pointy nub right there, okay? We're going to put that stitch marker back in. Make sure we're keeping track of our rows. And then you're going to single crochet and then increase 2 times. Woo! And then single crochet those last 3. Okay, perfect. And then what the heck? Okay, then next you're going to single crochet 2 and then increase 2. And then you're going to single crochet for those last 4. Perfect. And then you're going to single crochet 3 and then increase 2. And then single crochet for those last 5, 4, 5. And this is where it starts getting exciting, okay? I'm actually going to be bold enough to say don't do that last one right there, okay? That'll make this look a little bit nicer. So if you don't finish that whole round, that'll make this look a little bit nicer, okay? All right, so here we have the little schnoz. I like to pull that out so that I can make this kind of squish up like that, so it looks a little bit more like a Triceratops. All right. This is a disregarding the pattern type of move with not finishing that last one, but that's just a little hack that you know if you've watched this video, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to take this leg right here, or one of the legs, because they're actually identical. And you're going to single crochet 4 across it. With this still attached to this bad boy, you're going to single crochet 4 across this. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Beautiful, stunning, 10 out of 10. And then grab another leg, do the same thing, crochet 4 across that while making sure that it's still attached to the previous one. 2, 3, 4. And then single crochet all around the tail, which is going to be 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. And then you're going to go back onto the other side of this leg and then single crochet 4 onto that. Beautiful. And it's okay if there's tails hanging out and if these holes are pretty gaping, you're going to stitch those up in a second. Perfect. And then single crochet 4 on this. Oh, that's the previous stitch. Single crochet 4, 2, 3, 4. I've been crocheting for more than 10 years and I still make mistakes like this, so don't worry about it. If you're not perfect, then it's fine. Totally fine. This next little one is going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be basically the same as the last one. So you're just going to single crochet 4. Yeah, you're going to single crochet 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to single crochet 5. Perfect. And then increase. And then increase again. So 2 increases. Perfect. Since we didn't do that last one, we have to add an extra one to that round. So I'm going to update the pattern, so don't you worry about that. Just anybody who had an old pattern, because I'm just following the old pattern, I'll update it. Don't worry, it's fine. All right. Then you're going to finish up this round with 5 single crochets. Perfect, just like that. Beautiful. Then this next row that you're going to do is going to be where it starts getting kind of fun. Okay, we're going to start this row by decreasing so that we can make this head stand up. Decreased, and then single crochet 4, 5. Okay, you're going to single crochet 5. So that's just 2 that we've done. 3, 4, 5. And then decrease. And then you're going to single crochet 4, 4. And it's going to look funky for a minute, so don't worry. And then decrease. And then you're going to single crochet 2, 3, 4. I'm just counting right now, but you're going to be single crocheting 6, 5, 6. And then you'll decrease. We're going to single crochet 4, okay, but we're not going to decrease. We're going to single crochet 5, and then we're going to increase twice. And then we're going to single crochet these last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. Perfect. We're going to single crochet 6, okay? Sorry, that got a little bit complicated, but it's fine. It's fine. All right, then next we're going to single crochet 2 and then decrease. And we're going to do that 6 times. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 'Perfect. Here we're going to decrease again, and then we're going to go back to that single crochet 2, and then decrease. And we're going to do that about 3 more times. Perfect. Just like that. Stunning, 10 out of 10. And then we're going to move on to the round 10, which is going to be decreasing 4 times. 2, 3, oop, 4, and then single crochet, and then decreasing, oh heck, 1, 2, 3, decreasing 8 more times. Perfect, just like that. And then put that stitch marker back in. Going to single crochet 13, just to make sure that hump is a little bit humpier. Don't ever let me say that again. That's going to be all the way around. Stitch count should be 13. Your stitch count should be 13 by this point. Perfect. And now that that's done, you just move that stitch marker. All right, now that we are here, we can go ahead and put the eyes in and stuff it. Put the eyes a little bit higher than they were before. Do we like that? I feel like he looks like a elephant more if you do that. We'll just put them back down where they belong. Oh, I drop these things so often. It's actually probably not good. Oh, so cute. And then we just put these, we just put the backs of the eyes in. Perfect. Favorite sound ever. Before you stuff, you should stitch these holes at the bottom where we connected the legs. You can stitch those up really quick. That's at least what I like to do. You can also leave the gaping holes in the legs. That's also totally fine. But I like to stitch it up a little bit so that it's not nearly quite so sacred, so holy. So this last one right here. Perfect. And I just use the tails from the ends of the ends of these legs and tail. And then we're going to put the stuffing in, finally. Make sure to get in all the little cracks and crevices. This right here, what we're gonna do with this tail right here, is we're gonna kind of cinch it back. Just like that. Oop, got stuck. And this doesn't always work wonders. Sometimes it works good, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the day. I just like to pull it back like that, and so it kind of like sticks up more. Whatever you want though, there's no pressure to do anything or to not do anything, okay? And then we are going to finish this up by decreasing 6 times. And then you can do a single crochet at the end, but you can also just fasten it off. No pressure. So I'm just gonna fasten it off the end. I don't know about y'all, but. And it does look like a big gaping hole right now, but trust me, it'll look beautiful in a moment. Let me show you. We're just gonna weave this tail through each of these loops and pull it a little bit as we go. See, look at that. It's closing up so beautifully. Stunning, beautiful, we love it. And then just hide that loose end. Oop, almost perfect. And then you've got your very own Triceratops. Isn't he the cutest? I love him. All right, now that we have these 2 little babies, we love them. Make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, you can check out these patterns on our website. Check out the yarns that we have on our website. And have a lovely day.